Have you ever wondered how a potential conflict between Russia and other European nations might commence? If your thoughts went straight to the battlefield, you might need to reconsider. In the heart of Munich, the Munich Security Conference unfolded, a global stage where world leaders convened to discuss matters of international security. Among the voices, one resonated with a stark warning, that of Norway's Prime Minister, Jonas Gahr Støre. His message? The opening salvos of a potential conflict may not erupt on the battlefield, but rather in the halls of information and the corridors of cyberspace. Store's warning underscores the multifaceted challenges that democracies face today. It's not just about tanks and troops anymore. The battlefront has evolved. It's now about combating fake news, dispelling conspiracy theories, and fortifying against cyberattacks. In this era of information, the pen, or perhaps more aptly the keyboard, has become mightier than the sword. This weighty discussion unfolded during a panel on European defense, where Støre was accompanied by notable figures. Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission, and Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte. Their collective voices echoed the urgency of the situation, reiterating that the threats we face today are not confined to the traditional military sphere. Store's cautionary words were not unfounded. Recent events in his home country of Norway bear witness to this. Suspected Russian operatives targeting vital petroleum installations were apprehended, a clear indication that the potential for disruption extends beyond the battlefield and into key industries. The war of the future, as Støre suggests, may very well commence with attempts to undermine democratic institutions and sow disinformation. It's not just about physical dominance, but about control of the narrative, of the truth. The digital world has become an arena of conflict, where the first shot may not be fired from a gun, but from a keyboard. As Støre hinted, the battlefield may not be the first front in a conflict, a sobering thought for all to ponder. When it comes to politics, words can be as powerful as actions, and former US President Donald Trump's controversial remarks have certainly stirred the pot. In the world of international diplomacy, these comments have caused a ripple of concern. Trump's suggestion that a reinstated administration under his leadership might not uphold NATO commitments for allies failing to meet defense spending targets has provoked a wave of anxiety among the alliance's members. The idea of a US president even hinting at an openness to Russian aggression against such countries is a stark departure from the traditional norms of international relations. This isn't just a matter of treaties and military alliances. It's a question of trust, of shared values, and of the collective security that has been the cornerstone of the post-World War II order. When any leader, let alone the former leader of the free world, suggests that this trust could be conditional, it understandably raises eyebrows. Yet, not everyone is convinced that these remarks will translate into reality. Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte has expressed skepticism regarding the likelihood of such scenarios under a potential future Trump administration. Rutte, like many others, understands the enduring significance of NATO's non-EU members, such as the United States, United Kingdom, and Turkey. These countries' military prowess is a key pillar in upholding the alliance's collective defense commitments. Perhaps Rutte's skepticism serves as a reminder that words, while powerful, are not actions. They are signals, sometimes misleading, sometimes revealing, but they are not the final word. What matters most is the commitment of nations to uphold their alliances, to stand by their partners, and to respond collectively to threats, whether they come from within or from outside their borders. In the complex chess game of international politics, every move counts. Each statement, each gesture, each decision can tip the balance in favor of peace or conflict. In this context, Trump's remarks, controversial as they may be, are part of a larger conversation about the future of NATO, the role of the United States in the world, and the challenges that lie ahead. In the political arena, every word carries weight, and these remarks certainly add an interesting layer to the discussion. In a world of technological advancement, threats have evolved beyond the conventional. As we delve into the mind of Norway's Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Støre, we uncover a landscape of concerns that stretch beyond the traditional confines of military conflict. Imagine the heart of Norway's petroleum industry, a lifeblood to the country's economy, being targeted, not by tanks, not by missiles, but by shadowy operatives armed with nothing more than keyboards and malicious code. This isn't a plot from a spy thriller. It's a real-life situation that Støre recently highlighted, with the arrest of suspected Russian operatives in Norway, targeting these crucial petroleum installations. Store's warnings paint a picture of conflict that doesn't commence with the roar of warplanes, but with the silent whispers of disinformation campaigns, the subtle undermining of democratic institutions, and the quiet intrusion of cyberattacks. This is the battlefield of the 21st century, a landscape of ones and zeros, where nations can be crippled without a single shot being fired. The threats we face today are hybrid in nature, combining the physical and digital worlds in ways we're still struggling to fully comprehend. Store's concerns serve as a stark reminder that our defenses must evolve in kind. We must be as adept at safeguarding our digital infrastructure as we are our physical borders. In a world where cyberattacks can be as devastating as physical ones, vigilance becomes key. As we move forward in this digital age, we must remember that the front line of defense is no longer just at our borders, but also at our fingertips. A strategy of disruption doesn't necessarily rely on brute force. This is a notion that Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission, understands well. She characterizes Russian President Vladimir Putin's strategy as a broad spectrum of measures aimed at undermining democracies. The proposition of a European cyber force, equipped with offensive capabilities, is a telling response to such tactics. In the chess game of international politics, it's not always about the strongest piece, but rather the most cunning moves. In the face of multifaceted strategies, a multifaceted defense is required. In the face of evolving threats, standing still is not an option. These were the resounding words of Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission. She stressed the urgent need for the European Union to strengthen its defense capabilities. But how is this to be achieved? The answer lies in a new defense industrial strategy, set to be published in March. This strategy is not merely a document on paper. It signifies a firm commitment towards increased defense spending and enhanced efficiency through collaborative procurement initiatives. The European Union aims to fortify its defense posture, not just reactively, but proactively. It's about anticipating threats and acting decisively, not simply responding to them. The strategy recognizes that the nature of threats is ever-changing, and therefore, so must the defense. The evolving challenges call for evolving solutions. Von der Leyen's emphasis on this strategy signifies a shift towards a more resilient and robust defense framework. As we look to the future, one thing is clear: the need for a solid defense posture in the face of evolving threats is paramount. Let's take a moment to reflect on what we've covered. Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Store's warning at the Munich Security Conference was a stark reminder of the multifaceted challenges we face today. He cautioned that a potential conflict between Russia and other European nations may not necessarily start on the battlefield, but through insidious attempts to undermine democratic institutions and disrupt key industries. Former US President Donald Trump's controversial remarks added another layer to the discussion, hinting at a wavering commitment to NATO and a tolerance for potential Russian aggression. Meanwhile, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen emphasized the need for the European Union to bolster its defense capabilities in the face of such threats. A new defense industrial strategy set to be published in March aims to enhance efficiency and increase defense spending, underscoring Europe's commitment to fortify its defense posture. In today's complex geopolitical landscape, understanding the potential for conflict and how it might unfold is more important than ever.